Well, we're back at it, and it is time for me to finally put that 480 that I bought a couple months ago in the dually. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Misfire. We're going to be putting, like I said, that transmission in the truck, hopefully in like 3 or 4 days. Get it all wired in with this FI Tech Go Shift controller and have it rocking again to get this thing lower RPM cruising faster and get more mileage, hopefully. It's like a win-win-win-win-win. We just nothing but winning over here. And increase the life on the 454 because I feel bad for it. So to do all of this, we are going to be dropping the transmission tonight. It's like 9:30 right now. I'm going to drop the transmission. We're going to get the drive shaft out of the car, or out of the truck, out of my battleship here. And we're going to send that off tomorrow morning to the drive shaft shop. We got to measure the transmission differences in length. The 480 is going to be a few inches longer than the Turbo 400. If I knew which Turbo 400 this is, I could just tell them and we would probably be pretty close. But I don't know which one's in here. And there's, when I did research, don't hold me to this, but I think there's 2 or 3 different lengths. There's like a long tail shaft, there's a short tail shaft, and then there's like a medium tail shaft. If you have the long tail shaft, that one I think is within like ½ an inch of the regular 4L80 for the 2-wheel drive ones, and you could probably get away with just swapping them over without having to do anything. But when I looked quickly before, I don't think I'm that lucky. I think this is the short one, which I don't know the years, I don't know any of that. I'm just a dummy on the internet that does things like this on his cars and beats up on his 67 Nova, which people get upset about. And in case you're wondering, that 4L80 came out of, I think, a 99 or 98 Chevy like cargo van. So it was a Vortec 350 truck, which is perfect because the converter is the same one, and it's a later model one, which means it has the transmission cooler lines like this, and they're not stacked on top of each other like how where this casting is. Because the earlier ones had cooling issues right here, so they would overheat. But this one has the ones going like that, so it helps get the cooling passages a little bit better. I found this transmission for $550 on Marketplace running, and I got to drive the van that it was in, so I got to feel how it shifted and everything, and the guy pulled it out for me. So I know this one's good. It should be good for, you know, at least 2 or 3 years to begin with, if not longer. So, and I also have a transmission cooler in the truck already. We have a bunch of other stuff already ready to go with the thing. And like I mentioned before, we are using a Go Shift electronic transmission controller from FI Tech. They gave this to me, full disclosure, they gave this to me to try. I've never tried one of their transmission controllers. If you watched one of my last videos, I have systems on like everything I drive consistently aside from my S10. But yeah, this is the first time I ever tried one of their Go Shift transmission controllers, which is really cool. Saved me, you know, $500–600. So I got to figure out how to get all this together and get it in. I'm probably going to, once I get the transmission out, I'm going to do a little bit of light reading before I go to bed tonight. Kind of get a good understanding of what all I need to do with it. But this is the same controller that's in my Nova. I'm just a dummy on the internet. Don't listen to what I say. But yeah, so I'm going to get ready. I'm going to get under here, get that transmission out of the truck, get the drive shaft out of the truck, and I'm going to go to bed and then wake up and try to get this crushed, knocked out as best as I can. So that being said, let's get to it. You love my fancy exhaust right here that has, isn't that awesome? And my pure genius of my Flowmaster mufflers, or I don't even think these are Flowmasters. These are, yeah, they're Thrush. Yeah, they're Thrush mufflers with the just turnout right down the end of them, and they're turned up like that to get away from the drive shaft. Fancy. And as I'm doing this, you might be watching and thinking, you know, why is he going to a 4L80? The Turbo 400 is stronger. It's been in the truck forever. He's been running it like that forever. And you are correct about, you know, me driving with this forever. And, you know, I've lived put essentially the life of, you know, what they do in 1981. Well, they drove their truck 60 miles an hour on the freeway. I drove this truck from California to Tennessee doing that, towing my Nova. I'm over this. Especially as we start racing more and I want to use the truck more for like going to Florida and sick week and doing stuff like that. I don't want to have to drive going 60 miles an hour doing that stuff all the time. And if we can get an extra mile a gallon or mile or two per gallon out of the truck, I mean, that busts us into like low teens, like 13, 14 miles a gallon out of the big block. And if I did a roller cam and we got, you know, another mile per gallon out of it and it gets, you know, 15, that makes the dually like a Prius. That's like almost like electric car level of mileage for this dually, for a crew cab dually, especially from 1981. Alright, drive shaft is out. Alright, so there's a lot of drive shaft mayhem right here. Took me forever to get that apart, but I got it apart. So this is the drive shaft out of that van, and I need it for the yoke because mine actually has a bolt-in U-joints on both sides, heavy-duty truck stuff. I need the yoke off this guy, so we need to swap the yoke out on this one for that one, and then 3 inches shorter overall because that one is about 28.5, 29-ish, and this guy's about 31.5. So that being said, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna take a shower, go to bed, because I'm disgusting. So, see you guys tomorrow. Alright, now it is Wednesday morning now. I was originally gonna go drop the drive shafts off this morning, but they are still sitting there, and I figured it would take me an extra hour, hour and a half to pull the transmission and basically get the two transmissions sitting next to each other so I can guarantee that we get the right length and the right measurements and stuff. Originally I was going to be like, yeah, it'll be fine, I'm sure, but I really don't want to have to go back and get the drive shaft cut again and remeasured and all that stuff. So we're going to pull the transmission real quick. Like I said before, I'm probably just going to throw this on a time lapse and, you know, show you a few little highlights and stuff throughout, because obviously pulling transmission's not that exciting, so fingers crossed it all goes easy. It's not a big deal. Hello. Smack myself in the face. Alright. That wasn't terrible. Okay. Let me try to slide this pig out. Okay. Okay. That wasn't so bad. Oh, that sucks. Didn't drop the corner though, so that's good. That only took like an extra hour and a half when it should have been. Don't you love old, nasty, rusty bolts and stuff that has been apart in probably 40 years? Alright, so I measured it up. This one's 28.5 about, based on what I measured. And that one's about 31.5, so 3 inches off plus that new yoke. So that's what we're gonna go with. I'm gonna load up all that stuff. And my little, you know, basket right here is to grab all of the hardware so I can dump it in Chem Tool. So while I'm gone, I can soak all the hardware and it'll be nice and pretty and clean by the time I get back.
Was my hand between it and the handle? It's alright.
Let go. This is a lot higher than what I thought it was going to be.
That's all it is.
Lower?
That's it.
Can it go any lower?
No, that's it.
That's
Damn
it.
it.
You got what there is.
What?
How far can
About there.
I go? Oh. I can like force it really hard if I
No,
just
oh.
grind the top of it off.
No, you don't need that top
I
hole.
don't need that top.
Not
Well,
the
there's
top.
there's
There's
nothing on the
nothing
top
there
anyway.
Oh my god.
It'd be fine.
I cannot be a part of this.
Look at that. Oh, we're so close. I wish.
We're just pouring fluid out the back of it.
Oh, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I got the piece.
Oh, that's a lot of food.
You got a lot of fluid. There it goes. It's going. Just keep going.
Push.
You got me keep pulling?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
Oh.
Yep, go.
Woohoo. That's some black fluid. All right. There's a little bit of fluid on the ground. Just slightly.
Yeah, that's like this. Yep. Cardboard for the lid. Let's try to take the whole cardboard with it if we can. Okay, so now how do we get it onto the jack?
I don't know.
Okay.
We take the cab off.
Yeah.
I'm stuck. The exhaust has me. Holy.
So I'm almost at the end of the cardboard, but I need to go your way. So as you go with the cardboard, I'm going to go with the transmission with you to get it back a little farther. Okay, right there. That's where we want to be. Okay, we're good right there. Okay, go ahead and get yours. Okay, nice. Perfect. Sweet. Go ahead, going up.
All right. Here we go.
Yeah, hold on to your butts. This is going to be great. It's going to be huge. Huge.
Oh, God. God, I hate transmission.
I miss a lift.
What are you doing? You're taking my blocks away.
Oh, you're
I
putting.
was trying to.
Oh, you're putting. Oh, here, stop. Take that. Take that weird one away. Okay, I'm gonna get the blocks of wood out of the way. All right, this is what we were trying to get to. All right, Colin, you got it from here, huh?
Yeah, I got it. We're good. Let's do this. Right there. Go forward, Sil.
Yes, please.
You got it? No, here comes.
Here comes the juices. No.
You're still hit. Do you want me to try to lift that up? Oh, you got it.
You can go forward if you want.
Just so you know, I have a perfect angle
Stop
for
right
all
there.
of
You're
that.
hitting the wood on the bottom of the engine now with the converter.
That's gay. Oh, God. It's a bloody murder.
Okay, I'll hold this up.
It's going down my
If
arm.
you want to tilt it, you can.
Too late. I
And hold on, the cooler lines are. Okay, hold on. Cooler lines are good. Okay.
Don't know how to
Your
help.
armpit?
Yeah, it's got
Not
it.
quite yet.
It's filling up his.
Okay, stop there for a second. It's not going to go anywhere if you want to get your arm cleaned up.
I mean, it won't matter. I don't care.
Oh my gosh.
It's stopped now, so. No wonder the ball joints make noises. Good God.
Are they gone?
Yeah. The upper one on the driver's side. Holy shit.
And you're driving this, right?
Look at look at the top of between
Can I have
the.
that
Oh my gosh.
Can I have the longer bolt, please?
Yeah, in a minute.
Tune in next week, folks, because I'm gonna be fixing that.
Okay, I don't know if I got that.
So funny, that ball. No wonder it makes popping noises all the time. It's made popping noises since I've owned the truck.
You came across the country with a look of
I know.
That's the scary reality right there.
Okay.
I don't know how to help you.
Oh, you can't.
Okay, I'm managing the jack here.
Yeah, that's fine. So I dropped this on my head.
It's almost like it's not even on the jack anymore. He said he wanted the jack out, so if it falls on him,
It's on me.
it's his fault.
Yep.
You got it on that side? Or
Yeah, I got it.
This side?
Okay, so you got 2 bolts holding your transmission in right now.
And a piece of wood.
And a piece of wood.
2 bolts and a piece of wood. There's the drive shaft.
Oh, that's right. Duh.
Alright, so the truck is back on the ground because we pretty much don't need it in the air anymore. The transmission's in. And we can get pretty much everything else we need to get in the truck from the ground because it's still pretty high in the air. So I got the transmission controller mounted last night. Now we got to get the wiring routed and everything. This is the big guy for power. This wire is to go across. And we have some of these little connectors right here we have to plug in. I think this one, yeah, it's like key and it's like tack. Yeah, it's a tack wire. So we just gotta get some of that stuff routed through. And because I was new at cutting drive shafts and getting them all measured, we need to get the drive shaft measured another 2 inches. So that's fun. Gotta get it shortened about 2 inches. So that'll probably get done Tuesday, Wednesday this week. And after that, hopefully by then we'll have the truck completely wired and totally good to be able to, once we basically throw the drive shaft in, we can go driving. So that'll be good. I got extra fluid for it. We have to make sure the dipstick's actually in all the way. Get it squared away for that. But yeah, today's gonna be mostly wiring, so it's very exciting. You don't need to watch it. I'm going to show you the results of everything, kind of how I routed everything instead of you getting me to watch crimping and heat shrinking and all that stuff. So time lapse, here you come. Alright, well, seems how the GoPro died at some point while I was doing wiring stuff. I will go through everything that I just did as I'm holding my phone as a flashlight. First off, I did a bus panel right there, so for 12 volts. So that's all the 12 volts in the truck. That way I'm not splitting it straight up the battery. That is being powered by one of those wires, and that's going to be powering now the FI Tech system for the actual throttle body. That is powering the FI Tech transmission controller, and there's one other thing off the top of my head, I don't know what it is that is powering, but there's 3 things on that panel right now. There's going to be a 4th pretty soon when I do electric fan, but that's not right this minute. The rest of the wires are going across right there. You can see they have that fuse in line right there. There's the relay mounted right there on the splitter, and then all the wires are coming across. The TPS sensor you can see comes right here. Let me get you adjust real quick. So the TPS sensor's set up right there, so you can see how it's plugged in to the actual throttle body. Then it's out of the throttle body, then the actual to the transmission controllers right there. So that's how that's hooked up. We have the tack wire hooked up just in line to the distributor side of the tack signal wire. And then from there we have all of the bulkhead of the wires going right here. The VSS sensor is hooked up right there. The main bulkhead connector for the controllers right there. The ground's hooked up just right next to the transmission controller because that was just the easy spot for it. The only thing I need to do now is hook up the key 12 volts that's inside the truck, cut up all the wires, all the zip ties and stuff, get all that routed and cleaned up, which I'll be for a different day. So the wiring is done. We got the starters back in. We got the linkage started. I took off all the linkage stuff. The speedometer cable's out of the truck now. Like I said, starters on. Now we still have to do the bolts for the cross member, which that's just drilling holes for the cross member to get it where it needs to go. And then from there, we got to get the linkage and the drive shaft, and it's pretty much ready to rock and roll. So beyond that, I got the controller actually mounted in the truck, or in the truck itself. So we have a cool magnet system set up right here, so that way it'll just go right there. And when I get the other throttle body controller set up, I can just kind of go back and forth with which one I want whenever I want them there. So that's pretty cool. And now, like I said, so we got the wire and all that stuff. That'll be a different day. Tomorrow I have to go in and grab the drive shaft and get that shortened 2 inches, so a total of 5 inches, because that was on me, that's my bad. And then hopefully by Wednesday it should be running and driving. Stay tuned. Well, today is the day. Hopefully we have all the parts we need to get the dually together and running and driving out of the shop today. So I got the drive shaft in yesterday. That was really big, or Tuesday anyway, whatever day that was. We gotta finish mounting it up. I just put it in kind of like just hand tight with everything because we haven't gotten the cross member bolted in yet. So on the docket today, we got to get the cross member bolted in, check all the bell housing bolts, make sure they're good, check converter bolts, make sure all they're good, make sure all the wiring's good. We need to put key 12 volts to the FI Tech unit for the shift controller. And then we have to get the shift linkage itself hooked up to it. The transmission lines are already on it. Everything else is already hooked up. We just need to pretty much get power to it, hook everything up, and make it to where we can actually do, you know, the shifty things. So in order to make it do the shifty things, I got this low-car shifter column linkage adjustable column arm kit. That is very redundant. Anyway, this is the 26-inch long transmission linkage, so this rod itself is 26 inches long. The 1811 is the longer one with the 26-inch. I believe the 1800 or 1801 is the one that has the 21-inch. So if you have like a car or something like that, it's 6 inches shorter than that. And it also comes with all the Heim joints and everything you need to get the actual thing bolted up to the column shifter, linkage adapter, tool majiggers, and connected into either this thing or it comes with its own. I think this is its arm right there. So then the arm hooks up, one of those guys hooks into that, ties into that guy right there. So basically this arm hooks to the transmission, one of these arms hooks to the column, and it pretty much acts like a normal column shift. Stock shifter stuff will work, it's just all fancy low car stuff instead of big black cast iron, just steel. So now mind you, you can absolutely build your own column shift linkage and stuff. I don't have spare parts laying around right now to be able to just custom fab something. A couple of years ago when we were in California, I did, but now since we are here, we're reacquiring strategically random crap. So including just random cars and stuff, because when you have a lot of just random junk laying around, you can build a lot of good stuff. But when you don't have a lot of good junk laying around, then you need to buy stuff, and that's spending $100 on that is what has to happen. So with that being said, I'm gonna probably link that in right now. We'll get that linked in, do the wiring, do the drill holes in the frame, apparently I'm English now, do that, and then tighten everything up, and it should be good to hit the key and do all the setup, get ready to run stuff, which I'm super excited about. It should be a couple hours, so let's get into it. there's the old mechanism, which, like I said before, if you have the ability to, you can totally extend this rod probably to get exactly what you need out of it. But I don't have that ability right now, so... But basically what I read as far as doing all this is there's a pocket down there that this rides in, which is the actuator itself for as you shift, and this pushes this down, this obviously moves it like that. You have to move that pocket back 3 inches on the frame, and you move this back, and you add about 3 inches to this rod right here. There's almost enough room to just move it down more, but I don't know if you can really, that's obviously not 3 inches. You probably have to sleeve it somewhere in here somewhere to try to get that extra little bit out of it, and then add adjustments. And we've done that before, and it takes a long time to get everything adjusted, and it's still going to take me a little bit to get all this adjusted, but it'll still be easier to deal with. And also this bearing right here is pretty junk. Yeah, that one's it's had better days, that's for sure. So I think it'll like this new rod end setup that we have going on. Hopefully this is the right length and the right everything I need to make this actually go in the way it wants to. We're gonna get the rod in first. That's what she said. And get it just kind of in there loosey-goosey. And then we'll go underneath and we'll look at where it's gonna kind of connect itself on the bottom. Well, that's good, there's the rod. Okay, so we kind of have everything lightly mocked up in here, and as you can see, the rod is nowhere where it needs to be. So it looks like I could have probably used the 21 inch instead of the 26, but it's better to have a little bit more than not enough, right? So we just have the linkage connector right here to the transmission itself, just kind of loosely in there. That's generally where they said they wanted it, was kind of around the 8 o'clock position. So now we got to get this guy, this rod right here, bent in a spot to where this eye connects to right there. So I'm probably going to take it, we're going to bend it kind of around here. So we're going to bend that a few times probably and see, and as you can see where the old eye used to sit was right there. And it would come down and then it would rotate off that guy. So yeah, so I'm going to get this guy out, we're going to bend it on the vise, and we'll go from there. I'm probably going to do this a couple of times, so in an effort to save time, I'm just going to show you the end result. Alright, so I'm going to take it out again just so I can show you guys exactly what all I bent. But right now, I think I have it very close. It's just in that position to where which... Alright, so I'm going to take it out so you guys can actually see how all the bends are and everything in it. But you can see right here. So the rod goes down and you can see back in there it bends kind of like that, and then it kind of kicks over to the right a little bit. And then it goes into the actual thing. There is a little bit of tension on it, so I'm going to try to solve that. That way there's no kind of like spring compression into it, because I don't want that. Alright, so I think I found the groove right here. This took about an hour literally just to try to find this spot, but I think I found it. Ready? Alright. Park, reverse, neutral, drive, 3, 2, 1. Oh. This was a lot harder than it needed to be, but I found it, so. You missed my genuine reaction. It was, but you won't believe how happy that makes me to watch it do that. So, in order for me to do that, I had to get that nice where I needed it to go. The bend was correct still, but I had to cut about 4 inches off of it. And then it used to be, so Locar suggested this to be set at the 8 o'clock angle, which if you look at it, you're gonna be pretty close. It'll be pretty right here. All right, that's more like, I don't even know what that is. That's like, if this is, you know, 6, going down is 6, and that's noon. That's like 6:37, maybe? I don't know. I'll put a clock over it so you can see. But right there, I think, is the move as far as where the rod needs to be. I had to adjust this because I had it set it started right here. It didn't like that. I tried to bring it up a little bit, and it definitely didn't like that. So I kept bringing it down to adjust it there. So I guess that's your tuning for the low car adjustment right there, is if it feels hard, try to bring it down a little bit more. I think going up makes it harder. But if you bring it down and you try to angle it down, or try to just play with that little gear that's on there, because it's very finicky. Like, I literally was just kind of tweaking it this way, get a little bit better, go up, made it worse, keep going down, like that made it better. And right, you know, where it is right now, it feels really smooth coming out of park. Because that was the biggest thing, is it was hard to get out of park, and then it would go like straight into neutral or drive from park and miss reverse, which that's annoying, especially if it used to work the way it should, where, you know, factory it should work. That's annoying. And then secondly, by getting it there, it has enough throw to get into first, which is what I wanted. All right, so this is the magic right here. So this part right here is the part that goes up to the column itself. It goes into the truck like this. It has a nice bend right there. It's kind of like that. And then I like what I was talking about before, it has a nice little kick to the right there. More to the left, depending on which way you're looking at it. And then it kind of has a little kick up, which is the part that I was talking about right here, where I had to beat this on slightly with a hammer. I had to massage it a little bit. All right, so I got the key 12 volts hooked up underneath. It's this wire right here. I'm totally lazy. I just wired it into the 12 volts to the gauges over there for the lights and stuff. Is it what you should do? No, it's not what you should do. You should actually try to technically find true switch 12 volts somewhere off the key, or have a dedicated thing for it somewhere. That's what I have in the Nova. There's a dedicated switch 12 volts panel in it. However, I know it works, so that's done. I need to go underneath now. We're going to drill holes and tighten up the drive shaft, which the cross member needs to be drilled first. That way everything's still loose. Bell housing's good though. Converter's good. Everything's good aside from the bolts for the cross member and the drive shaft bolts in the back. And it should all be good to go. And then we can go drive it. So I also have to put the fan at least back in the kick panel over there, because I took that apart because it's leaking. And so the kick panel and the heater fans currently outside, to put those back in. Little details that I'll do in a little bit. And I also have to finish cleaning up the back. It's just one thing after another, it seems like. But yeah, so we'll have to get the can out of the door too, because there's currently a soda can that I put in the door. Before I'm able to do anything else, I need to get all the cow crap and dust and dirt that's still in this frame out of it, because right now I can't even see the holes. So for it, so we're gonna like we're going to very scientifically find the hole in the top and feel for it. I think it's going to be right there with that finger. And using that knowledge, we're going to probably drill a hole right there. That's what we're probably going to go with. Very scientific here. Okay, well, I think everything underneath is done. I got the drive shafts in, cross members in, we got that all bolted up, and I have my weapons of war here. That is Mr. Drill Bit. That helped out a lot. Ow. I keep getting freaking metal all over my hands. It's awful. Ow. Anyway. Drive shafts in, cross members in, U-joints are bolted in. All that is good. I think all the wiring's done up top. TPS is mounted. I think everything's pretty much good. The only question that I have right now is the way the dipstick is currently in the truck. It's not fully totally seated in it, so I don't know if that's going to be an issue. I've had that bite me in the butt before. Okay, hold on to your butts. We're about to fire this dude up. So, first off, before I get too carried away with everything, I went through already and I kind of set up the parameters for the FiTech controller. And basically all you have to do, which I was consulting the good old-fashioned book right there, and, you know, forgive me if I'm wrong about this and trying to get the, I don't know if it's blurry at all. So you go to the transmission controller, the calibration, all that stuff. There's different options for which transmission you have. So if you pick 4LXE, that's the 4L80. You have different cylinder input for the RPM, so that way you pick 8. The shift multiple, that's just how hard it shifts, kind of like what RPM, like throttle position, all that. Performance mode and the Calbee switch shift mode, those are both similar. As far as making it, shift whether or not. Tire diameter, that's just the size of your rear tires. Axle gear, that's just, axle gear ratio, obviously. Then the shift max RPM, so that's at the max RPM you want the thing to shift at. So this being a stock big block, I'm just like 5,000 RPM, totally fine for it. The over rev learn, so that's just it learning off of the tach for RPM like that. The RPM input also, it has RPM input, so it has an input from the tach. You have an option to not hook up the tach wire to it, which you'll see there's an option to not hook up the brakes to, which I didn't do. Yeah, I'm hitting the right button, there you go. Throttle position setup is kind of the same thing, so you do a full throttle TPS learn, closed throttle TPS learn, you can do stuff like that. Basically all that is, you turn that on and you give it full throttle. And off, on, kind of like that. And data set, so then now it kind of has somewhat of a basis to go off of at least. Speedometer, so if you have a speedometer, it'll help you correct it and you can set up accurately your speedometer, which I do not have a speedometer currently set up in the car, but we have one, we have an option for it, and I can probably actually have a speedometer through the FiTech too. Torque converter setup, so then there's a brake input that you can add, and that helps you turn the brake converter, unlocks the converter when you're on the brakes and stuff, which you don't need it. The computer can figure it out for itself. I didn't hook it up right now because I just haven't messed with that yet. I may or may not, we'll see. But there's different ways you can lock up the converter, enable it, and like the mile an hour it wants to lock it up. So I haven't touched any of this. This is just all basic tuning that it's done by itself already, kind of like the manual stuff. Full manual shift settings, so I don't really care about any of this. But if you were, say, in the Nova or in a hot rod thing, there's options to change stuff around there. There's also a paddle shift option. There's a dyno, so it'll hold itself in second or third gear, which is kind of cool. There's a transfer case, mess around. There's an odometer. There's reset learn. There's the ICAM brightness, which is this thing's brightness. There's an RPM noise fixing apparently, which is pretty cool. So that's all the calibration stuff. And like I was saying before, there's this sheet right here, which shows you actually mile an hour. It shows you RPM. It shows you TPS, which I think it still needs to learn the TPS a little bit, but it also shows gear, shifter, all that kind of stuff as far as what it's seeing, which is kind of cool. And then it will show you, that's cool, it shows you quarter mile, 0 to 60 time. That's fancy. See, this is like way too fancy for the dually. Right now it has 2 safe faults, so I'll have to look at those and see what those are. But for now, let me go to the fault codes and see if it says anything about those. TCC solenoid and TCC PWM. So those are torque converter stuff. That's interesting. Let me look at that and see what it's saying. As I know this converter did lock up, so maybe it's just like not seeing something because I didn't have something hooked up correctly. So let's just clear those real quick. I'm gonna put this guy back up where it was. Let's turn the key off. Let's go there, there, key back on. Currently doesn't have any of those saved faults anymore, which it hasn't started yet, so that might have been part of it. Nothing in the fan, nothing over there, nothing over there, nothing up on the firewall. All right, well, hold on to your butts and let's see what happens. Put my foot on the brake because I think it's in park, but you never really know, right? Woohoo! It moves. That's cool. So you can watch. So park, reverse. It says neutral's a park, which that kind of makes sense. Overdrive, drive, low 2, low 1. So I have all gears in it. With it being 11 o'clock, I am going to go to bed. That way I can get up in the morning early and we can go drive this thing in the morning. Yeah. And we can see how it acts. There's monsters trying to get in. It's just wind, but it's always kind of... It's just the wind. It sounds like Bigfoot's outside. True story. There's a 9mm special over there. It's the only thing I measure in millimeters over there. That thing. Anyway, just in case Bigfoot does try to get in, but like a 9mm would help. I need like a 20mm cannon if Bigfoot was trying to get in here. Anyway, I digress. The dually does move. Transmission does seem to work. I'm going to check the fluid tomorrow morning. We're going to make sure it's all good and ready to roll. And then we're going to go putting around a little bit tomorrow and close this video out. And I'm going to have a quintessential parts list for you guys tomorrow about everything I needed to do this, including, you know, down to the oil. So, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to go to bed because I'm probably partially delusional. And I will see you guys in the morning. So, yeah, stay tuned. Of oil on it. Definitely wouldn't be because I threw like a gallon of fluid on the ground. Ball joint, we'll fix that. The goal is not to catch on fire. have to adjust that shift. That shifted too high to me. Overdrive. Ha! Cruising at 45 miles an hour, 1500 RPM. That is mint. There's a bag in the back. Let me adjust it real quick. Let me adjust the tune real quick. Let me put the shift mode both to 1 just so it's nice and just like squishy buttery shifts. Okay. It was set. Let's go back to the dashboard. Alright, let's see how that does. I'm not gonna hit my big truck. That's better. 2,500 RPM it just shifted. So instead of 3,000, it shifted 2,500. Third gear it shifts into at 3,000. I'm going to try to probably bring that down a little bit. However, now I back off the throttle a little bit. We're in fourth, a little bit more. Converter lockup. It's good. That's awesome. Yeah. Alright, so I just gave it a little bit of throttle and unlocked the converter. There it went back, locked it back up. Downshifts like immediately. That was like half throttle too. That wasn't even like full throttle. So far, that white is that guy. But that is sick. Okay, let me mess with the tune just a little bit more. I have my handy dandy book. And it tells me what does what. Okay, so per the book, if you go into tuning, the initial setup, and you go into transmission setup, there is a all shift speed multiple, which I assume it's MULT. Here, let me get you on video. So right now it was shifting at 3,000 RPM going into third. So if I lower the all shift speed MULT, I assume that's multiple is what that's meaning. So if I lower that guy, sorry about the glare. So it was at 85 before. So if I put it to say 75, we send it to the computer. All right, so that's successful. All right, so now let's try what it's. Let's see. That's better. That was like 2,200. That shift was. Yeah, I like that a lot better. So I lowered it. Initially, just like the stock setting that it was on was 96. I lowered it down to like 75. Butter. The overdrive is not on right now. 25% is when it started locking up. But yeah, cruising 46 miles an hour at 1500 RPM. And now if I just kind of get on it. So 70 at 2300 RPM. 70 before was like 3000. Saw a little whiff of smoke. I don't know if it was me or not. That is good. That's really good. That makes me ubery happy. Okay, well, it's been a number of days because I was editing and I figured out the wrap up that I filmed was super shaky, and it's because the hyper smooth was turned off on my GoPro. Jacob. Anyway, I was sabotaged when we were doing other stuff and video stuff. It was Shift Point's fault. Blame him. Anyway, I'm gonna do the quick wrap up now again, which is better because I was really long-winded this last time. So just in cohesion with everything that we've done on this truck, I will walk you through the itemized list of everything I had to buy for this truck. So first off, the Go Shift electronic transmission controller. That stuff's about 600 bucks. I think it's like 660, 650. Mind you, FI Tech does have sales all the time on their website and everything like that. So if you wanted to look at that, like I said, they gifted me, they sponsored me with the Go Shift controller, so I didn't have to pay for it. But you need an electronic controller for the 4L80. It's like a 4L60. Any of the 4-speed, 6-speed, 8-speed transmissions, they need electronically controlled. So we got that guy over there. So that's like 650 bucks ish. We'll just say that. The Locar 1811 is the one that I use. It's the ACA 1811. I said you probably could get away with the other one. I don't know if you could with how much I cut off. It'd be close to 21 inches. It'd be probably on the short side, but you could probably make it work for the square body setup. But that was 120 bucks, I think, from Summit. So that one, so right there we're, you know, 750-ish, 760. I bought this bus panel, which you don't need to buy a bus panel. I just like them because they're super useful for all the wiring and everything like that. That was like 10 bucks on Amazon. Because I had the FI Tech throttle body in the truck, I needed to have some sort of TPS adapter for it, so that way the FI Tech could still talk to itself while also talking to the transmission controller. That was like 40 bucks from FI Tech. You just call them up, tell them what you're doing, what you need, and they'll just ship it out to you. It was like literally they next stayed that to me, which is really cool. So all that right there, I mean, it's what, almost 800 bucks ish for all that. For all this stuff, basically all the fixins to get the transmission in the truck. And then it was $100 to shorten the drive shaft and have him balance it and everything. I put a new carrier bearing in it, which you may or may not have to do. But yeah, it's super awesome to drive this truck. I've driven it a little bit since we've done the video. We drove it on the freeway a little bit. Cruises phenomenally. It downshifts in the second like that. It's obviously the same gear ratios and everything, but it feels peppier just because of the way it shifts. And there's so much tuning that you can do. It's amazing how much tuning that computer actually gives you. Like, it's to the point to where, honestly, I was contemplating the idea, because we have a 4L60 sitting in the house, or sitting in the shop. I was contemplating putting that in the Nova at some point, like building a 4L60 for the Nova just to run it and just to see what it does. But yeah, so in conclusion, you know, with transmission, cost of transmission, with cost of everything, I mean, less than $2,000 to drop a trans 4L80 in the truck. I mean, really, I'm under it like almost less than $1,000 with, I'm at less than $1,000 because they gave me the transmission, which I will have to say at this point, FI Tech, like I said, did sponsored me for the FI Tech unit. However, I would not be taking free stuff if it meant it was junk. I wouldn't put it on my dually that I intend to drive, you know, cross country. I would not put on my Nova I intend to try to do drag and drives with. I wouldn't put on my wife's Camaro for her to go to work and cruise around town with. I wouldn't do that because that just doesn't make any sense. If it was crap, I'd just put Hollies or something else on all my crap. So yeah, there's my little soapbox I have to say, because there's been people multiple times that have been like the keyboard warrior people. So there's that. With that being said, yeah, I mean, 480s and everything. Overdrive transmissions are good. Yeah, so that's my conclusion. 480s are good. With that being said, I'll see you guys later. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow along, because the next step we're gonna do is there's a box in the back of this truck right now. This box, yeah, the dually's getting lowered. So stay tuned for that. See you guys later. Peace.